Hi there. I wanted to make a quick video about my catheter cardiac ablation that I had about a week ago, less than a week ago. Today is Tuesday and I had it on Thursday, so it's been less than a week. But before I got my catheter ablation, I had seen a couple YouTube videos with some young folks who had also gotten theirs done, and it gave me a lot of confidence and peace of mind. So I wanted to also make a little video in hopes that it helps someone out there, young, old, whatever, who is thinking about getting a cardiac catheter ablation, because it's been great. I'm so grateful that there is something that can help people who have arrhythmias, palpitations, SVT. And long story short, I have had, I've had palpitations since my childhood, since I was about 9 years old. I think that was about the first time I ever felt it. And they were always very scary. They would last a couple hours for me. Sometimes if I was lucky, it would last like a few minutes, but most of the time it would be a couple hours, and it would happen every few years, just out of the blue. And I would usually just lay down and it would, go away after a couple hours, just naturally. But I had been told when I was younger that arrhythmias, well, actually I didn't know it was an arrhythmia till a few months ago. I was told that palpitations palpitations get worse as you get older, which for me that was the case. So my dog is eating his food, as you will hear in the background. Yeah, it got worse as I got older, and a few years ago, my palpitations, which were just like an irregular heartbeat, a rapid heartbeat with like a weird like fluttery feeling, a few years ago it lasted like 6 hours, and I went to a cardiologist and he was like, "You're fine." He didn't even tell me actually that it was SVT or an arrhythmia. He was just like, "You're fine, you're young, you're fine. Your EKG is fine." So this year I had an incident where it lasted 10 hours and I wasn't able to bring my heart rate down on my own like I usually could. So I actually went to the ER for the first time. They gave me an injection, which sucked, but it reset my heart and brought it back down to its regular rhythm and beat. And so that was when I first learned that it's actually an arrhythmia or SVT, and that it's just an electrical problem in the heart, and that you can actually fix it through an outpatient procedure called a cardiac ablation, and that it has a 95% success rate, and that they go in through the groin with a catheter, they go into your heart, they kind of tickle the heart to see where the palpitations start, and then once they find the source, the area of the palpitation, then they know where to cauterize or burn, and they burn that little extra pathway, and then you don't have palpitations anymore. So since going to the ER a few months ago, I've actually found out that so many people I know, well, not so many, but a good handful of people I know have had cardiac ablations done, and they love it, and they're like, it's the best thing ever, never had palpitations again. So also finding these videos on YouTube was also really helpful for me, and I hope this is helpful for someone else. Basically, I was nervous to get the ablation done, obviously, because they're going into your heart, but it's I was assured that it's a pretty seamless procedure, and they just go in through the groin, like I said, and it's scarless, and you go home the same day, and the healing is really your groin, which is true. So let's see. Last Thursday, I went in for the ablation, and I was nervous, but also very excited to get it over with. And I was the first procedure in the morning, and my cardiologist is awesome. And so I got there at 5 a.m. And I was in the room by 7 a.m. And the room was interesting. I don't know if all cardiac ablation rooms are like this, but this room was super high tech. It had like, it seemed like 8 or 12 computer screens, like flat screens, and one was for like ultrasound and EKG and just all these different monitors for the heart. They put me on the bed next to the screens, and the nurses were like, okay, we're gonna put these cold patches all over your back and it's gonna be really cold. They were right. I was like squealing and laughing and screaming because the patches were so cold. It was like getting into a cold pool. I was like, ah! And they were laughing at me. But they put these like 12 patches all on my back and like my sides, I think maybe even my front. And they were like, this gives us a 3D view of your heart. So cool. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Okay, so then I laid down and talked to the cardiologist, the anesthesiologist, and next thing I knew, the anesthesiologist was like, okay, we're giving you a little bit to kind of, you know, just giving you a little bit right now. I was like, okay. And I started feeling a little dizzy. And the next thing I knew, my cardiologist woke me up and he's like, it's over. And I was like, already? And he was like, yeah, it was the best case scenario because apparently my heart was just ready to start palpitating because as soon as they went in, it started palpitating, which is great for a cardiologist because sometimes with these ablations, it can take up to like 6 hours or so. It can take hours to try to get the heart to start palpitating so they can find the area where they need to do the ablation. And for me, I guess my heart was like so sensitive right now because it had been through so much recently with palpitations that it started palpitating right away. So they found it, they cauterized it, they burned the little extra electrical pathway. Then they tried to start palpitations again. They didn't start, so he feels super confident that they got it, knock on wood. And it was done in an hour 15 minutes. I was out of the OR, the operating room. So then I just had to go to the post-op, and you just have to kind of lay still for your groin area so that it doesn't bleed. I had a little bit of bleeding in mine when I got up to, they walked me around to go to the bathroom about 4 hours later, and I had a little bit of bleeding, so the nurse put pressure on it, and then it stopped, and then I was sent home. Crazy, right? So, and I felt fine, totally normal, and when I got home, I had a little bit of bleeding again in that area, which the cardiologist was so great. He called me right away and he was like, I'm not worried about it because I sent him a picture. It was just a little bit. He was like, just put pressure on it, lay off of it. You should be fine, which I was. It stopped. And I just have been like laying low for the past few days. This is like the most I've done. I like got up and got dressed and put some makeup on, but I've really just been enjoying just like laying low and not doing much. It does hurt to walk. The groin is what needs recovery really, because the heart feels totally normal. Like it's very strange. It doesn't feel like I had anything done. It's the groin that has a huge bruise, especially because I was pushing so much on it. Afterwards, he was like, your bruise is gonna be a little bigger than probably expected because you're pushing on the artery basically. But yeah, the groin is like green and purple. But I feel fine. I feel normal. Apparently people can still get skipped heartbeats after the ablation because they're not getting rid of, he said that, my cardiologist said that everyone's heart skips beats. Some people feel it, some people don't. That's normal. He said that, you know, from time to time, obviously. He said that the ablation isn't getting rid of the skipped beats. He said the skipped beats are like the spark and the palpitations like the haystack. What they get rid of is the spark igniting the haystack. Instead, you can still have a spark, but nothing's gonna happen over here. So I don't think I've felt any skipped beats. I know another video I saw here on YouTube, the girl was saying that she for a couple weeks had a lot of skipped beats after her ablation, so I was kind of preparing for that, but I think maybe I felt one today. I don't know, but I didn't really feel it. It still gets me kind of like worked up talking about it because it's such a like, it was such a thing for so much of my life, these palpitations, this arrhythmia. I never knew that there was a solution, that it was fixable, and that it was this easy. I wish I had. I've missed so many things like birthdays, my own birthday parties, events. I was once performing backstage and I suddenly got palpitations and I had to be like, I had to get a stand-in to like do my part. It sucked. You know, it's a new lease on life. You get your life back in a way, and I'm grateful. I feel good. I'm grateful to God and to these doctors, and I hope that this helps answer any of your questions. If you have more questions about the cardiac catheter ablation or palpitations or anything, please ask me. I'm happy to answer any questions. I can also do an update in a few weeks and a few months and a few years. Yeah, I'm just really grateful, and let me know. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this helped.